Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome back to Practical and Healing Applications of A Course in Miracles with me, Anna Rebecca Quinn. Thank you for joining this broadcast. I'm only broadcasting on Facebook tonight, but I will be posting this later in my YouTube channel later. So, thank you for joining here, and we are going to be reading from A Course in Miracles, and we are going to be trying to hear what it's saying and apply its principles to our lives, to what we've got going on in our lives. This is A Course in Miracles, and they don't call it A Course in Miracles for nothing. This is a very powerful curriculum in the healing of our minds. Okay, we're going to be talking today about the healing plan of man that A Course in Miracles is an expression of. A Course in Miracles is a curriculum whose purpose is for the healing of our minds, all of our minds. That's what it is about. Hi, Diana. And let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know. So I'm doing a little sound check. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Naya. Do I sound all right? Can you hear me okay? Or should I take the microphone out? How do I sound, you guys? Do I sound okay? Let me know so I can know whether the mic is working. How's it sound? Okay, let me know how it sounds. All right. Yes, audio is good. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. We are going to be reading from A Course in Miracles, and we are going to apply these principles to ourselves today so that we can experience some miracles of healing. What we're going to be talking about today in A Course in Miracles is the healing plan of man. Okay? Because our Creator loves us, our Creator has given us a plan for the healing of our minds, which cannot fail unless we don't use it, is that kind of plan. The plan cannot fail. The only thing that could keep this plan from working is if we're not using it. So nice, she's not getting any audio. Audio is fine. Okay. Let's see. All right. I'm going to go for a minute or so, and then Naya, let me know if you hear the audio. Okay? All right. Now, so where we're going to be reading today is we're going to be in chapter number 1. So we're going all the way back to the beginning. Chapter 1, section 3. And it's called Atonement and Miracles. And I have titled this Love's Healing Plan and Miracle. Okay, I'm going to take this off, and we're going to just go old school here. Take this out. Okay, how about now, guys? Okay, wonderful. Excellente. All right. Wonderful. Okay, yay. All right, beautiful. All right, I had to turn up my ears, LOL. Okay, great. So we don't need that. And let me just check something here. Okay. So where we're going to be today, thank you, Vanaya, for letting me know. Where we're going to be today is, let me turn this off. Okay, turn this off. Okay. I don't know how to turn this off. Okay. Hopefully that's not still picking up. Okay. All right, guys. Oh, I know what I should need to do. Just put it back in its box. All right. Thank you for your patience, guys. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so if you are following along, hi Tricia, lovely to see you too. If you guys are following along in your books, I'm going to be in the blue book today. And in the blue book, it is chapter 1, section 3. Okay? That's what we're going to be talking about, love's healing plan for mankind, which you do have a part to play in. So we're going to hear about the plan that our loving Creator has given to us that enables all the errors in our mind to be corrected. Okay. Hi, Jean. Lovely to see you. Course in Miracles tells us that all the problems that we suffer from, everything we're suffering from, is coming from not the world outside, not the cruel world, not a cruel God. All the problems that we are suffering from are coming from the errors in our mind, our false perceptions, our wrong perceptions that we learned in the past that were never true about us, like we're guilty, like there's something wrong with us, like we're unlovable, like we're unloving, like we're inadequate. All those things that we learned in the past from ourselves, those are the errors of thinking in our minds. Those are our false beliefs, our untrue beliefs. And all of our suffering, all of our problems are coming from errors in perception that we are making. So wherever you've got a problem right now that you are struggling with, that is coming from an error in perception, something that you are misinterpreting, that you are believing falsely in your mind. And that the correction of the errors in your mind, that is what brings you back to peace and abundance and joy and love and all the wonderful things that are your inheritance as a child of God. Peace and joy and abundance and healing and love is your inheritance as a child of God. That is your right. That is your birthright. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to earn joy. You don't have to earn love. You don't have to earn peace. It is your birthright. Okay? But to experience what is your natural right that you don't have to earn, you're going to have to allow the errors in your thinking to be corrected. That is what this curriculum is all about. That is what this is about, allowing the errors of thinking that we learned from the past to be corrected in our minds for us by love, by spirit, so that we can experience our natural native inheritance of joy, peace, and abundance. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that healing process. Okay, the Course in Miracles uses the term the atonement. And it has nothing to do with what we learned about atonement, which is punishment in the past. Atonement is the healing plan of man that God has given to us to be facilitated for us by our teacher, by our higher mind, our guide. Okay? And so we're going to hear about this healing plan today and our part in it. You know, what do I need to do to accept that healing of my own mind, that I might extend that to others? So that's what we're going to be hearing about. So I want you to keep in mind as we go through this, any problems or issues that you are struggling with right now. Okay, this is what we're going to be talking about, is the correction of the errors in your mind that are producing that problem, that struggle, so that we can learn what it takes to allow it to be corrected for us. Okay? Our loving Creator has given us a plan for the correction of all of our errors that enables all of our errors to be corrected for us without paying for it, without having to earn it, without having to do anything except accepting it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Okay, great. Does everybody see where we're at? Thank you, Tricia, for putting it in there. Chapter 1, Section 3 in the Blue Book. Okay, so the first thing is that we are hearing here from the voice of the Course. We're hearing from the teacher from whom the Course in Miracles has come. So our teacher is going to be talking to us directly here. And our teacher begins with, I am in charge of the process of the healing plan of man. Okay? So that is what is the first thing our teacher wants us to know is, I'm in charge of this healing plan. So don't you worry, I'm in charge of the healing plan, says the voice of the Course, our teacher. Okay. And our teacher then says, I undertook to begin this healing plan of man, and I am still in charge of this healing plan. Now, our teacher then says, when you offer a miracle, which is a loving thought, to anyone, you are offering a loving thought, a miracle to yourself and to me, says our teacher. So we're hearing here that our teacher is in charge of this healing process. Okay, good. Glad to know that my healing is in good hands. It's not up to me. Good. And that whenever I or we offer a loving thought, a miracle to another, we are offering it, that miracle of healing to ourselves and also to our teacher and our guide. And then our teacher says, the reason you come before me is that I do not need miracles for my own healing. So our teacher doesn't need corrections of thinking for its healing like we do. But then our teacher says, but I stand at the end of the healing plan in case you fail temporarily. All right, thank you, teacher. And then our teacher, the voice of the Course, says, my part in the healing plan of man is the canceling out of all errors that you could not otherwise correct. Wow, what a wonderful guide. What a beautiful, miraculous healing teacher we have. Our teacher, the voice of the Course, is telling us that this teacher is going to, its part in our healing is the canceling out of all the errors that we could not otherwise correct. Okay, so we have a guide, we have a teacher who can correct all the errors of our thinking that we're suffering from that we can't correct ourselves. So whatever suffering, whatever problems, whatever issues you got going on, those are the errors that right now you can't correct yourself, or else you wouldn't have this problem. This problem, this struggle is representing an error that you cannot correct yourself so far, right? Because you made it. But our teacher is like, my part is to correct all the errors that you cannot correct for yourself right now. I'm so glad to hear that I have a teacher, that I have a guide who can correct all the errors for me that I cannot correct for myself right now, which is all the problems that I still have right now. And then our teacher says to us, and as you share, and then it says, when you have been restored to the recognition of your original state of sinlessness, guiltlessness, when you have been restored to the recognition of your original state, you naturally become part of the healing plan yourself. So this is how the healing plan goes. We recognize, we allow ourselves to be restored to the recognition of our original state. Okay, that's our part. I let myself be restored to the recognition of my original state, which is what? Complete innocence, completion, guiltlessness, sinlessness, regardless of whatever errors I have been making. Okay, when I have been restored to my recognition of my original state of sinlessness, then I naturally become part of the healing plan of man myself. As I recognize the truth about myself, my original state is my innocence and my sinlessness. Now I become a part of the healing plan of man. All right, you were hearing about how the healing plan of man works, how it goes, who's in charge of it, what's our part in it, right? This is very important. This is in the first chapter of A Course in Miracles. It's laying out the healing plan of man, letting us know what our teacher's part is and letting us know what our part is. And remember, the Course in Miracles tells us, until you accept and fulfill your function and take your part in the healing plan of man, then you will never rest. You will never experience your own completion. Okay? So then it says, so as you, our teacher is still speaking to us, our teacher says, as you share my unwillingness to accept error in yourself and others, then you must join the great crusade to correct error. Okay, so this is how it goes. So our part is to share love's unwillingness to accept error in ourself and others. What does that mean, to not accept errors in ourself and others? What that means is I'm learning to be unwilling to accept my errors as who I am. That's not who I am. That's not who you are. I'm not my errors. I'm not my ego. I am unwilling to accept that I am my ego. I'm learning to be unwilling to accept that they are their ego. I'm learning how to be unwilling to accept that they are their ego and I am my ego. I'm not my errors. They're not their errors. And as I share love's unwillingness to accept my errors or their errors, then we must join the great crusade to correct errors. So that's what we're doing. Okay, the healing plan of man is the great crusade that is underway to correct the errors of all beings. Okay, that's what's going on. There's a great crusade that is happening to correct the errors that all the children of God are making. Okay, now we're supposed to take our part in the great crusade of the healing plan, the correction of the errors of all mankind. Okay? And the way that we join the great crusade of the healing of errors of all mankind is we share love's unwillingness to accept that error, to accept those errors in ourselves and others as who we are. So when you're with another person and you are witnessing their errors, which means their egos, which means their problems, which means their grievances, which means their sadness, their hurt, all that negativity, when you don't accept their errors as who they are, when you remember that that's not who they are, and when you are in your ego, remembering that's not who I am, that's not who you are, okay? As you remember that and you separate the dreamer from their dream, the child of God from their ego, then you take your part in the healing of that person, okay? That's how we heal other people. We separate their ego from them and we go, they are not their ego. I am not my ego. I am not my errors. Like, do you really want to be your errors? Do you want people to see you as your ego? Do you want people to associate you with your problems, with your mistakes? You know, I don't want people to think about me and think of me as the mistakes I've made in my past, right? Do you? Well, the way that we take our part in the healing plan of others is remember, separate them from their ego. They are not their errors, and you are not your errors. That's how you join the great crusade to heal others of their errors. Okay? All right. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing as love crusaders. Thank you, Naya. All right. And so then it tells us how to take our part in the great crusade of healing and correcting the errors of others. This is how you do it. You listen to love's voice, and you learn to undo error, and then you act to correct it. this is how you take your part in the healing plan of mankind. You listen to love's voice, learn to undo error, which is what love is going to be teaching you how to do, and then you act to correct that error, which love is going to be directing you. That is how you take your part in the Great Crusade, the healing plan of man. Isn't that beautiful? And basically, this is how you work miracles. You know, the Course in Miracles tells us that our function is to be miracle workers. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean to work a miracle? It means you learn how to listen to love's voice, and you're learning how to undo errors, and you're acting to correct those errors in others. That's what it means to be a miracle worker. That's what it means to take your part in the healing plan of man, which is, the Course in Miracles tells us, that is why we are here. We are healing. You know, that's the only reason we're here. I know it seems like, you know, we're here to like become something or get ahead or do something special or whatever, but for all the things we think we're here to do, or the reasons we feel like we're here, Course in Miracles tells us our only purpose here, our only job here, our only vocation here is to accept our own healing, the healing of our minds, and to extend that to others, to help others to do the same. And he says, once you've accepted your only purpose of healing here, then there will be no stones that will not be removed from your path before you even reach them. And once you've accepted that your only purpose here is healing, allowing the correction of your own errors, then you will experience life as if you are being carried down a quiet path in summer. All right. Okay, so it's pretty important to first remember that our only purpose here is healing. That's it. And second of all, to learn what that means to be a healer of others. Okay? What it means to accept your own healing, the correction of your own errors, and how to be a channel, how to act to correct the errors of others. Okay? That's why we're here. All right. And so in other words, we're here to be miracle workers, to work miracles. This is what it means to work miracles. And then it says the power to work miracles belongs to you. Okay? Did you know that? The power to work miracles belongs to you. Wonderful. Now, our teacher, the voice of the Course, says, I will provide the opportunities to do miracles. Okay? That's what our teacher's telling you. I will provide the opportunities to work these miracles. What miracles? Oh, the miracles that you have the power to do. The power to work miracles belongs to you. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful reminder? And then our teacher says, and I will provide the opportunities to work these miracles. But you must be ready and willing. So, your teacher, your loving right mind, your guide is going to be providing the opportunities to work these miracles. But you got to be what? Ready and willing. All right. Are you ready and willing to work these miracles that love is going to be providing the opportunities for you to do? Now, doing these miracles will bring conviction in your ability to work miracles. Why? Because conviction comes through accomplishment. So as you work the miracles that you are being provided the opportunities to do, then your conviction in your ability to work miracles will increase. because as you do the miracles, as you accomplish the miracles, then you will have conviction in your ability to work miracles. Right? So then it says the ability to work miracles is the potential, and the achievement of doing the miracles is the potential's expression. And the healing plan of man, which is the natural profession of the children of God, is the purpose. Okay? So the healing plan of man is our purpose. That is our natural profession. Okay? So if you have been feeling like, well, what's my purpose? What am I here for? What am I doing here? I don't feel like I'm doing what I came here to do. I don't feel a real sense of accomplishment and purpose. It can only be because you have not remembered your natural profession. Okay? And if you're experiencing a sense of fulfillment, a sense of unfulfillment, if you are experiencing a feeling of unfulfillment, a feeling of purposelessness, it can only be not because you don't have a purpose or that you failed your purpose. If you're feeling a feeling of purposelessness, it can only be because you have forgotten what is your natural profession as a child of God. You have forgotten why you are here and what your purpose is here. Okay? You don't come to this realm, earth school, unless you need healing, which means unless you need to become a healer. Okay? You don't come to earth school unless you need healing, unless you need the correction of your errors, and so you need healing. That's why you're here. And the only way to experience the correction of your errors is to take your part in being a channel for the healing of other people's errors. Okay? So if you're feeling a sense of purposelessness, then remember your purpose. Your purpose is to work miracles. Your purpose is to be a teacher and a healer who works miracles, which means to help other people to experience and accept the correction of the errors in their minds that is producing suffering for them. Okay. So I love that. I love that it is reminding us of the cause of that feeling of purposelessness, right? Directionlessness, like a feeling like, oh, what's my purpose? I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. It's because you've forgotten what your natural profession is. Whatever it is you do in the world, what you're really here to do, your real function and purpose here is healing. It's working miracles. And thank you, Spirit, that we don't have to provide the opportunities to work miracles. Okay, our job is not to self-select those miracles. Oh, I'm supposed to be a miracle worker. Okay, what miracles am I going to do? No, our teacher, our guide, will provide the opportunities to work those miracles, and all we must do is be ready and willing. Okay. So that's all we got to do. I love that. I don't have to figure out what miracles to work. That's not my job. My job is just to be ready and willing when the opportunities are provided by love to work a miracle, which means to see other people correctly. Okay? To work a miracle doesn't mean, okay, here we go, I'm going to work a miracle. It means I see other people correctly. What does it mean to see them correctly? We heard earlier, it means to see them as not their ego. Remember They are not their errors. They are not their ego. They're just like you, an innocent, perfect, guiltless, sinless child of God who has forgotten who they are and believes that they are their ego and are their body. Okay? They're just like us. So that's the miracle that we're going to get opportunities to do, to work, is opportunities to go, oh, that person is not their ego. Oh, that person's calling for love. Oh, that person is not their errors that they're making right now. They are not their bad mood. They are not their behavior. They are not their ego. They are not their body that's suffering. Okay? That's the miracle. That's the working of the miracle that it is our natural profession to do. And we don't have to figure out we don't have to figure out when and where, and we don't have to make it up. They will be provided. If you are ready and you are willing to see other people correctly as love sees them, then all the opportunities will be provided for you to do that. And then as you extend those miracles, and then your conviction in your ability to work miracles will increase. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Okay, now we're in paragraph 2. There's a quote. The quote is, "Heaven and earth shall pass away." You ever heard that quote? Well, what that quote really means is that heaven and earth will not continue to exist as separate states. All right. So heaven and earth won't be separate states? Doesn't that sound good? Okay. All right. I would love for me to be able to experience earth as not separate from heaven. How's that sound? How would you like to experience earth as a heaven on earth? Right. Nice. Says we have to be ready and willing for the opportunities to work miracles to be a part of the healing. Exactly. And if you're ready and willing, then the opportunities will be provided for you to work those miracles where you see other people correctly for them, and then they experience a correction of their errors in their minds. They experience more peace, more joy, more abundance. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Diana. I'm glad that you can hear that. I was wondering. Okay, yes, please. All right. This is the way to have earth and heaven not exist as separate states. I want to experience heaven on earth, you know. Of course, A Miracle says heaven is not some place you go to if you have earned it. Heaven is a state of mind. You know, heaven is a state of mind that you can experience right here, right now on earth, such that heaven and earth are not separate states. So when it says heaven and earth shall pass away, it means that they will not continue to exist as separate states. And then our teacher, the voice of the Course, says, my word, which is the resurrection and the life, shall not pass away. You know why? Because life is eternal. You are the work of God. And God's work is wholly loving, wholly lovable, and wholly loving. I'll say that again. Hear our teacher. Hear your teacher speaking directly to you. You are the work of God. And God's work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. And this is how you must think of yourself in your heart. You know why? Because that's what you are. That's your original state. That's your original one truth. That's it. You are wholly loving and you are wholly lovable because you are the work of God. That is how you must think of yourself in your heart, because this is what you are. All right, so this is our work as a teacher, a healer, a miracle worker is to accept the truth for ourselves while we're here on earth, while we're here experiencing a body, is to accept the truth about ourselves, to see ourselves the way our Creator, who created us, sees us. And how does our Creator see us? Our Creator sees us, all of us, every single one of us, no matter what. Constantly, our Creator sees us as wholly loving and wholly lovable. That's it. That's all our Creator knows about us, right? And then it's saying this is how we must think about ourselves in our heart, because this is what we are. This is our function as miracle workers. This is our purpose as miracle workers, teachers and healers here on earth, is to accept this truth about ourselves and to see that in others. Okay? And if you are ready and willing to accept this, it didn't say if you had completed it perfectly, it said if you are ready and willing to see yourself like this, and then to see others like that, then all the opportunities to work this miracle will be provided for you. And as you work these miracles of seeing yourself correctly and seeing others correctly, you will experience a conviction in your ability to work miracles. You know, working miracles is not like a hocus pocus, wave your magic wand and do something special. Truly, working miracles is seeing other people as their Creator sees them, and seeing yourself as your Creator sees you, and thinking about yourself like God thinks about you in your heart of hearts, and seeing other people like that when they can't see that for themselves. That is what it means to be a miracle worker. Seeing other people the way love sees them. Seeing yourself, thinking about yourself the way love thinks about you. You know, that is what it means to be a miracle worker. That's what it means to accept the truth for yourself, which is the only reason you're here. That's your only purpose, is to accept the truth for yourself and to see that truth in everyone. And that's it. Now, remember, so it's not about doing anything. It's about seeing other people correctly. It's about seeing yourself correctly, the way God does. And that is you accepting your purpose as a miracle worker. That's how you become a miracle worker. Right? And remember, when you accept your purpose, the only reason why you're here, your natural profession, then remember, the entire universe supports you. The universe goes before you, removing all the stones from your path and making straight and smooth your way. The universe itself supports you, provides for you, takes care of you. Okay? That all comes from you accepting your only purpose here, to be the correction of your own errors and the extension of the truth, seeing the truth in others. That's it. Okay? I love it how it says this is your natural profession. This is your natural profession. So whatever it is else you do in the world of form, you know, when this is your purpose, you are fulfilling your natural function. You are fulfilling your function as a child of God. You are taking your place in the great crusade, the healing plan of man. And that is what brings peace and rest unto our souls. Of course, as you'll never rest until you find your function and fulfill it. You'll never rest. You'll never feel fulfilled. And finding your function and fulfilling it is as simple as accepting the truth about yourself as your Creator established it, and seeing that in others, which means not confusing them with their egos, with their errors. Okay? How do you allow the errors in your own mind to be corrected? You allow yourself to remember and accept the truth about you as established by your Creator. And then you remember that for others who can't remember that for themselves in the moment. That's it. That is why we are here. That is our function. That is us joining the great crusade to correct errors. That is us taking our part in the healing plan of man. Okay, beautiful. Hi, Demi. Thank you, Demi, for the birthday wishes. I appreciate that. As you can see, I'm in a different place today. I'm at my dad's house in Atlanta. I'm here visiting my father and supporting him in his transition to life as a bachelor after his wife of almost 40 years passed away a couple months ago. You guys may know that. So I'm here being with him and my family and supporting him in his new life. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, I love that. So I love that line. You are the work of God. You are God's handiwork. Okay? You are the work of God, and God's work is wholly lovable and wholly loving. And this is how you must think of yourself in your heart, because this is what you are. Oh, so beautiful. And then paragraph 3, it says, the forgiven are the means of the great crusade, the healing plan of man. Okay. Thank you, Demi. Demi says, I need this tonight. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Demi. I appreciate that. All right. So the forgiven, which means those who have accepted the truth about themselves, that's what it means to be forgiven. It's not like, oh, I forgive myself for the dumb stuff I did, for my errors. It means I have accepted the truth about myself as established by my Creator. I have accepted that for whatever errors I have learned about myself, about how guilty and wrong and inadequate and stupid I am, I have accepted that my reality is established by my Creator, not me. Not my parents, not anybody else. I have accepted the truth about myself, that I am wholly loving and wholly lovable. And that's it. Okay. Now, those who have forgiven themselves, they are the means of the healing of others. Okay. Why? Because when you've accepted the truth about yourself, you are filled with the Spirit. You are filled with Spirit. When you accept the truth about yourself as established by your Creator, you are filled with Spirit. And so you extend that truth and that forgiveness in return. So you who have accepted the truth about yourself and forgiven yourself, you are the means. You are the means for the healing of others. Yeah. How do other people get healed? What's the plan for the healing of others? The healing plan of man is you accepting your own healing, which means accepting your own truth, which means accepting your own forgiveness, and the extending that, the reminding of that of others, the seeing of that truth in others, even when they can't see that for themselves. You are the means for the healing of humanity. You are. You who are accepting the truth about yourself. Okay? That's your function. That's your job. That's your vocation. That's your profession. Accepting the truth about yourself and the seeing it, remembering it for others. That's it. Real simple. Not difficult. Not difficult at all. You don't need to have a higher degree. You don't need to have any degree. You don't need to have anything to accept your function and to fulfill your function. It's just about accepting the truth about yourself, which of course is going to be the opposite of everything that you learned in the past. right? Now, who among us learned in the past that you are wholly loving and wholly lovable, and that's it? Okay, anybody learn when they were a little baby, you are wholly loving and you are wholly lovable, and that's it? That's the truth about you. Okay, did anybody out there learn that? I didn't. And I had relatively enlightened parents, and I still didn't learn that. Okay, but it's all right, because here we are being given the opportunity to learn and to accept the truth about ourselves and to remember that for others. Okay, us having accepted the truth for ourselves, we are the means for the healing plan of mankind. We are. Okay? We're the healers of mankind. And not because we've accomplished or done something special, but just because we've accepted the truth for ourselves, and now we are remembering that for others. It's real simple, real easy, and it's the only way to true fulfillment of your spirit and your soul and your mind. It's the only way to feel completely fulfilled, okay? Because that is our only function here. All right. So it says those who correctly perceive themselves, they are the means for the healing plan of man. Being filled with spirit, we forgive or correctly perceive in return. In other words, those who are released by truth must join in releasing others, because that's the plan of the healing of man. Okay? We allow ourselves to be released and healed by the truth, and then we join in the releasing of others. That's the plan for the healing of man. Wow, it's so beautiful, so simple, and so easy. Okay? And miracles are the way in which minds that serve love unite with me for the release of all of God's creations. That's what miracles are. We're joining with love. We're joining with God in the releasing of all of God's creations. Did you know you release others? You release others by accepting the truth for yourself and then extending that to others. You are releasing God's creations. That's our vocation. That is our job as miracle workers. That's our, what was the word? I love that word. Our profession. That is our profession. Our natural profession is to accept the truth about ourselves and to release others. To release others from what? From the false beliefs that they learned from their errors about who they are. Okay? You know, our job is to release others from all of their beliefs that they are not wholly loving and not wholly lovable. That's what we're releasing other people from. That's all anybody needs to be released from. The only thing we struggle from is because we don't believe that we're wholly loving and wholly lovable. That's the only thing that anybody is suffering from. That's the only thing we're suffering from. The belief that we're not wholly loving and not wholly lovable because of our errors. All right. We believe that our errors have made us not wholly loving and wholly lovable. And that's why we suffer. That's where all of our problems are coming from. We don't know the truth about ourselves. We haven't accepted the truth about ourselves. And we're not helping other people to remember the truth about themselves. All right. And you know, this is chapter 1, you know, so this is like the foundation of this thought system, this plan, this curriculum of A Course in Miracles. This is the foundation. This is what you are. You're the work of God. You're wholly loving and wholly lovable. That's it. And only as you extend that to others, remember that for others, only then do you develop the conviction that that is the truth. Okay? I want to have conviction that that is the truth. I want to accept the truth about myself. It's a big improvement over what I learned about myself, which is not that I'm wholly loving and wholly lovable. But the only way that I can develop conviction and accept the truth about myself is to remember that for others. That's what it means to work miracles. And if I'm willing to accept that truth for myself and to remember that for others, then all the opportunities to do that will be provided for me. And then all the rewards that come from that will be being provided for me. You know, when you take that opportunity to extend the truth to others about themselves as similarly worthy of love, then, you know, that is what brings rewards to you. All the things that you love and appreciate and desire, you know, that is where all those rewards come from. When you are fulfilling your function of accepting the truth for yourself and then extending that, remembering that for others, that is how you release all the treasures from the storehouse of treasures that have been laid up for you by God. That's the key that goes in that lock to the treasure house. And then all the treasures, all the things that you love the most here on earth are unlocked for you. That's where true abundance really comes from. You know, I fulfilled my function. I accepted the truth for myself, and then I remembered that for another, and then I unlocked the treasure house door, and now here they come, you know, and are laid at my feet, okay, as gifts, right? That's what A Course in Miracles has to say about how you release all those stored up treasures to be laid at your feet for you, right? It has nothing to do with going and getting or taking from another. It has everything to do with I have put the lock in the key, which is remembered the truth for another when they couldn't remember for themselves. Okay? That's how you put the lock in the key and open up the treasure door, the treasure house door. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, great. So now we are in paragraph 4. All right. This is so fun. Okay. Paragraph 4. So our teacher is still speaking to us directly, and our teacher says, I am the only one who can perform miracles indiscriminately because I am the healing plan. And then our teacher says, you have a role in the healing plan of man, which I will dictate to you. Love that. And so our teacher says, ask me which miracles you should perform. Ask me, says our teacher, which miracles you should perform. And why should we do that? Well, asking our teacher which miracles we should perform spares us needless effort, because we will be acting under direct communication. Okay, I love anytime it says this spares you needless effort. That always catches my attention. I'm kind of lazy, so tell me what all I don't need to do. Okay, so by asking your teacher, by asking love, hey love, what miracles do you want me to perform? Okay, what miracles do you want me to? Is there anything you want me to do here in this situation, which is calling for help? Is there anything you want me to do here, love? You know, it's it's a great thing to remember when you are experiencing some sort of conflict situation where instead of deciding what you should do, which is effort, we're being told here, hey, miracle worker, don't decide what miracles you should perform in this situation calling for help. That's you trying to figure something out that's requiring a lot more effort than you're being asked for. So we're being told when there's a situation calling for help that we're supposed to ask love. Love, is there something you would like me to do here? Okay. Do you want me to perform a miracle here? Do you want me to work a miracle here? Is there something you want me to do here? I'm only here to be truly helpful. Is there something you want me to do here? Okay. And if you'll ask love which miracles you should perform, then that will spare you needless effort because you'll be acting under direct communication. Okay. Okay. So here's a situation calling for help. I can either put out a lot of effort to figure out what I should be doing and how I should do it, or I could just ask and then act only under direct communication. Okay, you see the difference here? We're being taught how to fulfill our function as miracle workers. Okay, you're a miracle worker. That's what we're being told. This is chapter 1. You're a miracle worker. Your profession, your natural profession is to work miracles. But you're supposed to ask, what miracles do you want me to perform, love? You know, so that you're only acting under direct communication. And when you're acting only under direct communication by love, by your teacher, it spares you needless effort. You don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to strain. Don't have to figure anything out. Don't have to work for it. Don't have to work at it. Don't have to decide on your own what you should be doing and how you should be doing it and when you should be doing it. That is a lot of effort. It's a lot of needless effort. You know, how relaxing it is to ask, what do you want me to do, love? And then just act only under direct communication. How effortless that is. Okay, that's the opposite of strain. Strain is, oh, I got to figure out what I should be doing here, and I got to figure out what I need to be doing because I now got to figure out what's wrong and who's the problem and what I should be doing and how I should do it and when I should do it. That is a lot of needless effort. That's strain. Okay, so if you're experiencing strain, it's because you are doing some self-select and miracle working. And we already heard in the previous sections of number 1 and number 2 of chapter 1, we've already heard that our goal is not to do self-selected miracle working. Okay? Self-selecting miracle working, you deciding what miracles need to happen and how they need to happen. That's you putting yourself under strain. Okay? But you as a miracle worker, you are supposed to be working only under direct communication. Okay? You're not supposed to be deciding which miracles to work. Okay? That's strain, and you can't be the decider of that. Right? You have a teacher, you have a guide whose job it is to guide, not only to provide the opportunities to work miracles, but to be the guide telling you, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, wait to do this, do it like this. Now, the experience of asking love what love would have you do in any situation, and then letting God, love direct you specifically to what miracles to do, that's your job, and that's your sweetest reward. Acting only under direct communication of love in any situation calling for help is glorious. What happens then through you is a miracle. It is truly a miracle. And the experience of miracles coming through you, answering calls for love, is ecstatic. It's ecstasy. It's fulfilling. It's thrilling. Okay? So if you're experiencing strain in any situation, then you are doing some self-selected miracle work, and you're trying to decide what you should be doing, what that situation needs, before you have asked love, hey love, I'm only here to be helpful. What would you have me do? What miracles would you have me perform, if any? You know. And in the original dictation, our teacher also says to be very conscious of saying to your teacher, not only what would you have me do here, but not only what miracles would you have me work, but what would you have me not do? You know, whatever you don't want me to do, I won't do, right? So we're learning about our profession as miracle workers, okay? I've become a miracle worker, and now I'm learning what it means to work miracles. How do you work miracles, okay? Thank you, exactly, Tricia. What miracles do you want me to perform, God? What would you like me to do? Exactly. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you. Tricia says, I'll thank you, Anna. I'll thank you, Anna, for reading that, for that. Just answer my prayer. Beautiful. Thank you, Tricia. I love it. Yeah, we're learning about our profession. And as we learn our profession, our natural profession, and fulfill it, we develop a conviction in our miracle working abilities. And when we are fulfilling our function as a miracle worker, we are getting all the rewards of that, which is the fulfillment and the treasures and that come with that, right? Right. Okay. Then it says, the impersonal nature of the miracle is an essential ingredient. The impersonal nature of the miracle, meaning the not self-selected nature of the miracle. Miracles are not self-selected. Miracles are like, love, what do you want me to do here? What do you want me to not do? Love, what do you want me to do? And acting under direct communication. That's the impersonal nature of the miracles that we are working. We're working miracles, but miracles are impersonal, meaning we're not the ones deciding, oh, they need this kind of miracle. Oh, they need this kind of miracle. Oh, they need this kind of miracle. And what's that self-selection going to be based on? My past. So miracle working is an impersonal process where I am asking love, what do you want me to do or not do? And then only acting under direct communication from the love, from the guide that you have asked before you acted. Okay, that's 101 of miracle working. Now, so the impersonal nature of the miracle is an essential ingredient of the miracle, because the impersonal nature of the miracle enables love to direct the miracle's application. And under love's guidance, miracles lead to the highly personal experience of revelation. Whew. So when I am not self-selecting that miracle, I'm asking love what miracle love would have me do, and then I'm acting only under direct communication, then that is going to lead me to the highly personal experience of revelation. Yeah, and everybody who's experienced the highly personal experience of revelation knows that that is ecstasy. That is incredibly powerful. It's an incredibly powerful experience of being used by love, being a channel for love. That is like all of us have experienced that at one point or another, where we have given ourselves to love, to be used, to answer some kind of call for love, and felt love using us. to bring healing to situation. And we've all experienced the ecstasy of that revelation, something coming through you that is more brilliant and more loving than even you are. And it's ecstatic. It's extremely powerful. It's ecstatic. You know, we've all had that experience before of asking love to use us and love doing it, and it be completely fulfilling, ecstatic, right? And so that's the perks of that's the perks of our job. That's the perks of our profession as miracle workers, is the ecstasy fulfillment of the revelation of love using us when we ask, and then acting only under direct communication. Whew, that's like, honey, that's the ultimate perks of our natural profession as miracle workers. All right. Then it says a guide, which is love in this case, the guide, love, does not control our actions, but our teacher, our guide, does direct our actions, leaving it up to us to follow. So the quote, lead us not into temptation, unquote, means recognize your errors and choose to abandon them by following love's guidance. Whew, wow. I love that. So, lead us not into temptation means recognize your errors and choose to abandon them by following my guidance. All right. So, sorry, got hair in my mouth. Okay. So this again is, you know, what we're hearing about is, you know, what is our job? How do we fulfill our mission and our function and our natural profession as miracle workers? Okay, that sums it up in one sentence. Okay, recognize your errors and choose to abandon them. How? By following love's guidance. Okay, that's how you become the miracle worker that is your natural profession to be. Okay, I recognize my errors. How do I recognize my errors? Well, I go, I don't like the way I feel right now. I don't like the way I feel right now. That's what it means to recognize your errors. I must be in error because I don't like the way I feel right now. And so I must have chosen wrongly. And now I'm going to choose to follow love's guidance. And that is how your errors get corrected. So that's I love that. That sums up our profession as miracle workers, as teachers and healers. That's it. Recognize your errors and then choose to abandon your errors by following love's guidance. Okay? That's what miracle workers do. Okay? I'm in error because I don't like the way I feel right now. If I'm not happy, I'm not joyous, then I must be in error, right? Because reality is only peace. Reality is only joy. Reality is only abundant. Reality is only eternal. So if I'm experiencing something besides joy, peace, love, abundance, eternal life, then I am in error. I'm making an error. I'm wrong. I'm not perceiving correctly. I am making an error in my mind. And the only thing I got to do is to abandon that error by choosing to follow love's guidance. Love, what is the truth? Love, what is it that you would have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say, and to whom? That's how you abandon your errors. I love that. That's how you abandon your errors. Okay? You recognize when you are in error, and then you choose to abandon your error by following love's guidance. It's so beautiful. That's what a miracle worker does. Okay? That's what makes you a miracle worker. That's you fulfilling your function. It's so simple, so easy. I'm recognizing that I'm in error because I don't like the way I feel. And I'm going to abandon that error. I'm not going to stay with that error. And I'm going to ask for love's guidance. Love, what is the truth? What's the truth about me? What's the truth about them? What's the truth about this situation? And love, what would you have me, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? That's it. That's you fulfilling your function in your natural profession as a miracle worker, which leads to the highly personal experience of revelation, which is ecstatic and fulfilling, and allows profound abundance into your life. So beautiful. All right. Okay, now we're going to do paragraph 5. All right. Now, your errors, okay, all the errors, all the misperceptions that are leading to pain and suffering, all those errors, all those things you learned about yourself in the past that tell you that you're not wholly loving and you're not wholly lovable, all those errors, they cannot really threaten truth. They can't. Not one single error that you have made can threaten truth, the truth about you. Not one single error that they have made can threaten the truth about them. That's the truth. Error cannot really threaten truth. You know why? Because truth can always withstand error. No matter what error you've made, no matter what error they've made, truth can't threaten error. Error cannot threaten truth because truth can always withstand error. Always. There's no error that is more powerful than the truth. Not any error. Not any error. Even if you call that error a big fat sin, there's no error that cannot be corrected by truth, by love. There is none. That's why the Course says there is no sin, because there is no error that cannot be corrected by truth, even if that error is called a sin, or else there'd be some sin that was not an error that could not be corrected even by God. And that's impossible. How could error, something God didn't create, be more powerful than God, who is the author of reality? This is the logic of A Course in Miracles, right? And so it wants you to know the truth is that error cannot really threaten truth. Why? Because truth can always withstand error. Only our errors are actually vulnerable. Okay? There's no error that's invulnerable to truth. That would mean there is a sin that even God could not correct, and that's impossible. Thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that there's not one single one of my errors that can withstand the truth. Thank you, God, that there's not one single error that I have made that truth cannot correct, that love cannot heal. Thank you, God, for creating that reality. And help me, Spirit, to remember that about others when I perceive their errors. Help me to remember that about their errors, that their errors cannot withstand the truth about themselves, and that the truth about themselves can correct any of their errors, no matter how much I call their error a sin. Please help me to remember that for others. so that I can remember that for my errors. Now, if you can remember that your errors, that none of your errors can withstand the truth, and that all of your errors can be healed and corrected by truth, then you don't need to feel guilty about any of your errors. The only errors that you feel guilty about are the ones that you believe cannot be corrected by truth. And the only errors you're feeling like guilty about and are calling a sin is only the errors that you haven't brought to truth for correction, because you think, oh, truth can't correct these errors. And the only reason that there's some errors within me that I believe can't be corrected by love is because there's some errors that other people have made that I don't want to be correctable by love. And so I need all the opportunities I can get to remember that other people's errors can be corrected easily by love, so that I can remember that about my errors, so that I can stop feeling guilty about those errors and allow those errors to be corrected easily and naturally by love and by truth. Okay? I don't want to have any errors that I'm feeling guilty about that I believe can't be corrected by love. Do you? Do you want to have errors that you believe can't be corrected by love? No, of course not. But we will, until that is the truth that we are applying to other people's errors, remembering that their errors are not sins, they're just errors that can be corrected by love. They're exactly like your errors. Until I remember that for other people, I can't remember it for myself. So I need all the opportunities I can get, to remember for them that there's no error that they have made or are making that can't be corrected by truth, by love. Thank you, Naya. I appreciate that. Naya says, miraculous devotion to A Course in Miracles, Anna. Thank you for making time to share another wholesome lesson. I trust that you are enjoying moments with your daddy. Love, 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 joy, joy. Yes. Thank you, Naya. That's beautiful. Amen to that. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll go on a little bit more, farther. We've got about 10 more minutes. All right, you guys. Then it says, the forgiven are the means. Oh yeah, here we go. Now we're on paragraph 5. Error cannot really threaten truth, which can always withstand truth. Error cannot really threaten truth because truth can always withstand error. Only the error is actually vulnerable. You are free to establish your reality where you see fit, but the right choice of where you want to establish your reality is inevitable if you remember this. Spirit is in a state of grace forever, and your reality is only spirit. Therefore, you are in a state of grace forever. Now, the healing plan undoes all errors in this respect. And this is how truth uproots the source of fear. Okay, so this little 3-sentence saying is how all errors are undone. This is how all the source of fear is uprooted with these three sentences right here. Spirit is in a state of grace forever. Your reality is only spirit. Therefore, you are in a state of grace forever. So, in those 3 lines, it is telling you the truth about yourself that is forever. It's your forever truth that can withstand any error. Okay? And as you remember this truth, these 3 statements of truth, this undoes all your errors. Isn't that deep? When you remember that what you really are, spirit, is in a state of grace forever, and you are only spirit. Therefore, you are in a state of grace forever. That is the truth that can withstand any error, and that is the truth about you that corrects all your errors and uproots the source of all your fear. When you, the only thing that corrects all your errors and the only thing that uproots the source of fear, all your fear, is remembering the truth about yourself. That you are spirit and you are in a state of grace forever. And nothing can change that. Nothing can undermine that. That is the truth about you, no matter what errors that you are making, no matter what seems to be happening, no matter what errors they seem to be making. Nothing can change the truth about yourself. And as you remember the truth about yourself, it undoes all your errors, which means it uproots the source of all of your fear. That's how the healing plan of man corrects all of our errors, with the truth. That's it. It's so simple. It's so easy. All of our errors are corrected by our acceptance of the truth about ourselves, a truth we did not establish because we did not create ourselves. We are created by God, but we are not God, but we are created by God. And so God, who created us, established our reality. God is the author of our reality, not ourselves. Thank God. If you were the author of your reality, then you would have condemned yourself to hell and guilt and sin and shame forever. So thank God that our reality has been established for us eternally by our Creator, and it cannot be changed by whatever errors that we are making or have made in the past. So beautiful. It says, and whenever you experience love's reassurances as threat, it's always because you are defending misplaced or misdirected loyalty. And when you project this misplaced or misdirected loyalty to others, you imprison them, but only to the extent to which you reinforce errors they have already made. And this makes them vulnerable to distortion. This makes you vulnerable to distortions of others. This makes them vulnerable to the distortions of others, since their own perception of themselves is distorted. And so the miracle worker can only bless them. And when you, the miracle worker, bless them, they whose perceptions are distorted, when you bless they whose perceptions are distorted, then this is how this undoes their distortions and frees them from their prison. Wow. Now, their errors are their distortions. And, people are vulnerable to the distortions of others only to the extent that their own perception is distorted. Let's say this about ourselves. Somebody may have a misperception of you. They may have a distorted perception of you, but their distorted perception of you, you're vulnerable to their distorted perception of you only to the extent to which your perception of yourself is distorted. So if my perception of myself wasn't distorted, then I wouldn't be vulnerable to other people's misperceptions of me. So when you're upset about how other people are seeing you, it's only because you are not seeing yourself correctly. Okay? Other people, they are only upset about other people's misperceptions of them They are only upset about other people's judgments of them to whatever extent they are judging themselves and wrong about themselves. So, your function as a miracle worker is only to bless them, which means to see them correctly. They are suffering only because their misperceptions about themselves are making them vulnerable to the misperceptions of others. That's why they're suffering. And your job as a miracle worker is to just bless them, to see them correctly, to see them as God created them. That's how you undo their distortions about themselves and free them from their prison. That's your function as miracle workers. Beautiful. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to stop here. I'm going to do a couple of announcements, and then that'll be it for tonight. Hi, Carla. Lovely to see you. All right. Speaking of Carla, you guys, this coming Saturday, November 1st, Dr. Carla and I are doing one of our next monthly Course in Miracles play shops at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. And it is all about creating conscious community through holy relationship. So we are going to be learning about what is a holy relationship and how do you create holy relationships in your community. How do you create a community of holy relationships? Doesn't that sound awesome? How would you like to have a whole community of holy relationships? I would. That's what I want to learn. So that means that's what I got to teach. And A Course in Miracles is teaching us all about that. That's what A Course in Miracles is doing. It is teaching us how to have holy relationships of all of our relationships. That's what A Course in Miracles is teaching us how to do. Having a holy relationship, a healed and loving, release from guilt, safe and honoring relationship with everyone. And then having a whole community of holy relationships. That's what A Course in Miracles is teaching us to have. And that's what we're going to be talking about. And we're going to have some fun. That's why we call it a play shop. And thank you, Carla. And Carla is a gifted channel of healing for relationships. And I love teaching with you, Carla. Such a gift, such an honor. And so, guys, if you are in the Denver area and you want to join in this experience, this play shop of learning how to create holy relationships for your community, then come on down. So it's 10 a.m. to 3:30, November 1st at the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. If you are interested, go to my website, divinerevolutionarq.com, and sign up there. And then come on down. Lunch is provided. And we're going to have a good time learning how to create holy relationship community. All right. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your love and energy while I'm here in Atlanta, miracle working with my family. I appreciate you all more than I can say. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time I see you.